beautiful soul in the ground. Let this weather here show that sadness that this day has developed. I'd like to start these services off with Walker's favorite poem by Robert Frost, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. Woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will not see me stopping here. Watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkness evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sound that sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep. Miles to go before I sleep. Miles to go before I sleep. Thank you so much for indulging me as I am able to read the poem that Walker read to me every night before I slept. Back in 1957 was the first time me and Walker received great and dire news. See, he was drafted, his name pulled for the war. Vietnam was what they decided was going to be his destination. At that time, we thought it was a death sentence. I never thought I'd see him again. But I was blessed through letters, love. I was able to see him again when he returned. Although the war did change him, never fully came back to me. Years we only talked through letters. It's all we had. It was only a couple of months ago that I heard he moved to Los Santos, joined the LSPD, make it as strong, reliable as it is today. When I heard that news, I knew I had to be by his side, protect him. I failed him in that, and I'll never be able to bring him back. But I will not fail him in what his true mission was, and that's for the LSPD to be as great and as powerful it needs to be for this city. Although Walker may no longer be by my side, his love, his dedication, they will always be there. At this point in time, I am going to give it off to the chief here. Final remarks, and we will allow anyone who wishes to speak on their own behalf about Walker to come forth. We know he's touched many lives.
I think you got a spider on your foot, Reed.
Yeah, you do.
I'll just stay as is.
Thank you, Lieutenant Reed, for those touching words. I remember walking into the chief's office for my interview, fresh out of high school. I ran into Walker in the lobby. Both of us were sitting there wearing suits that we barely fit in. We had probably just bought from JCPenney. Walker actually walked into his interview before me, and while I was sitting there, sweating, his name was called by Chief Knight. I wished him good luck and told him he was going to nail his interview, and all he said was, "I'll see you at the academy." From the first 30 seconds of meeting Walker, I knew he was going to be a solid cop, and they'd regret hiring him. First day at the academy, we met outside in the parking lot, and it was like we knew each other forever. Working side by side with Walker, we both moved up the ranks, and eventually I was promoted to chief. The time came, I needed a second in command, and there was only one person I could think of, and that was Walker. We worked together for a while, and we built the police department, ground up, to become what it is today. From day one of the academy, we were told that at some point in our career, we would be in the exact situation that we're in now. If someone told me at my interview that I would be at the funeral for Lieutenant Walker, I would have turned the job down. Here we are. I remember the day, hearing his voice on the radio, calling back up, and I replay it in my dreams every night, like it was yesterday. And I blame myself for not being there to help him when he needed it most. Walker became a friendly face to everyone in the city, but he'll always be my first partner. I will never forget Walker or the day we met, and this day will be embedded in my memory forever, and the police department will become better because of him. And I thank you all for attending this ceremony for him, to remember his name, and to remember the service that he provided to this city. And at this point, if anybody would like to make any statements for Walker, please step forward.
That was beautiful, Chief. I don't want to say too much. Just Walker's a big reason I got on the force. He was really a big influence to me. I know he did a lot to try and clean up these streets. But you know, the same streets he tried to clean up ended up in the end, well, they took him out. It's really unfortunate. And I want to let everyone know we're trying our best to find out who did this to him. They'll be brought to justice.
I would like to step up.
Hit him with the rod.
Please step forward.
If you didn't, my dad was Mooney Bone, and I was told that he was really good friend with Walker, you know. And if you didn't know, some mental issues, and I connect with that. I can connect to that, you know. So let me try to. Maybe I can bring him over here. Give me a second. Hey, motherfuckers! How you doing? It's Rodney. How you doing, guys? It's Rodney.
What?
Where is
What the
Walker?
fuck?
Hey, where's Rodney, guys?
Bro, this dude is
What
lost
is Rolly?
his mind.
Hey, where is Walker?
I'm
Where is Walker?
Come on, get up.
Hey, where is
Who
Rodney?
the
Can you
Hey.
remove this
guy?
man from this
Yeah.
Where is
ceremony,
Walker?
please?
Come on,
Hello?
Get up.
Walker? What is Walker? Walker?
Get up.
Walker?
Shit. My bad.
Unbelievable.
Walker? I miss
Damn,
Walker.
brother.
He was my best friend. I remember when I punched him in the police. Punched him in the face. He was my
Hey,
best
listen.
friend. I kissed him in the mouth. I hugged him. I loved him. He was such a cutie. I loved him. He was my best friend. I missed him. I miss him. I miss him. Where are you? Where are you? Come back.
As you can truly see, Walker touched many lives, even the insane. Because that's the kind of man Walker was. The kind that gave back to his society. Worked with anyone that was willing to work with him. Is there anyone else?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. From Walker. Senator Walker. So I remember when I was benched from EMS for 2 weeks. He was there. And by the time that I was benched from EMS for the 2 weeks, he dies. If I was on duty that day, I would have saved his life. but help cops, all the officers who find who killed them, who found them. And yeah, I remember one of the words that he always says, "Mr. Crespo, how you doing, sir?" And I remember that every day. And I didn't look at him as a friend. I looked at him as a dad. And me never had a father in the house. That really touched me and shit. So yeah, that really touched me sometimes. Made me proud for my job, and made me feel comfortable in the community of Los Santos. Thank you.
Thank you for those kind words.
Lieutenant Walker was a great man, and he did everything he could to uphold the law with as much honor and integrity as possible. And though he was a countryman down at heart, there was something that always drew him back to the city. I think that was his desire to root out the crime and establish the peaceful bliss that we need for the city to prosper. The city and the world have lost someone truly special. Someone that can't never be replaced. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Kind words indeed.
I'm about to do something just so you're all aware.
Thank you all for coming. I do appreciate you honoring. Oh,
No. Go away. My
I
dad.
had to do it. I was like, my
oh
wife's
yes,
gonna make
yeah,
fun of me.
indeed. I think at this point in
Told
time,
him
we're
that.
going to allow the family to take a moment and to grieve. You're more than welcome to stay, trade stories, remember good times with Walker. But once again, thank you all so very much for coming out.
I would also like to thank everybody for attending the ceremony. A couple of you that had good words to say. I think Walker would really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I would have done even more, but you would have started laughing. I would have lost my composure. I know, but you would have laughed more. I was gonna be like, we served together. You should have heard what these people's speeches were. They were really good.
I can't talk in game or y'all are gonna actually hear me crying. Jesus fucking Christ. This was so fucking touching. I can't.
I never knew Walker, but he'd be sad to see all these people who were let down by his death.
If we could all salute, and then I'll say, at this point, we are going to have everyone leave the area, and we are going to bury.
And we're gonna kill Tyrell Gibbon.
Tyrell.
At this point, we thank everybody for coming to the ceremony, and we're going to bury this body from this point forward. Thank you for coming.
Please get the fuck out.
Please get the fuck out.
God bless you, alright?